Good afternoon. My name is Henry Irabon, a student of International and Intercultural Education of Florida International University here in Florida, United States of America. I am here to quickly have a presentation, a very short presentation concerning the course issues affecting education, and the topic is going to be on the article report on gender and done together by Aguayo and uh, K2 2016. It was more of an engaging report concerning issues of gender violence against women and girls, and this has gone so far in many academic community for our understanding concerning violence against women and girls. The issue of violence concerning women and girls are issues that have called for global concerns. There have been a lot of conventions and treaties, there have been issues of both domestic laws and all that to avert acts of violence against women and girls. It is hitting a lot of countries, especially developing countries. But our focus today will be on the Caribbean, Latin America and the Caribbeans. Now, this report unveils the issues concerning violence against women, and also the panacea to this tendency concerning men by involving men in policy making as a way to see that gender violence against women are put to a total stop. And it worked out in many countries in Latin America, in Chile, we will unveil each country what they did as like a program to rehabilitate society, especially the men society, towards their attitude and to women as it concerns violence. Now, violence against women take a lot of dimension. It can be psychological and it can be physical. Most of the ones we see today are involved with the physical aspect of that, beating of a woman, rape, issues of rape. We have the one we can still refer to as genital mutilation, issues of psychological torture. Psychological torture is mainly common in marriages, and we've been made to understand from other presentations attached to this topic that I'll be attaching to this topic that psychological tortures are always experienced in marriage by partners of women in marriage, or lovers, the case may be. And this has taken a lot of lives of women in our world today. Now, there have been so much sensitization concerning this. Mostly the World Health Organization have should consign, United Nations Women have should consign campaigns and all that to stop this kind of abuses against women and girls today in our society. There are cultural aspects of it too, and religious aspect of it too, which makes it very, very difficult to draw the line between what the state law says and what the culture stands for. Sometimes cultural practices violate the rights of women, but it is another aspect of analysis today. But most of our cultural practices, especially in Africa, Latin America, our religious practices, sometimes they violate the rights of women. They are obvious violence against the rights, fundamental rights of women today. It is obvious today that in many religions, women are always relegated to the background. They are seen as second class, while the men take the lead of worship and all that. Women are actually limited in the places of worship and all that. But this report is quite comprehensive. There were a lot of survey data analysis, on violence, on the use of violence, the rate of physical violence used by men against a female partner currently or former between the ages of 15 and 49 ranges from 13.4% to 52.3%. That is the United Nations Women report of 2015. Now, as I have said, the panacea to these aspects, to these cases of violence against women and girls must include men and boys in drafting policies and interventions to this end, meaning that they must be part of the solution to this problem of violence against women. And we have had a lot of people who have made support to this very suggestion. In line with this report, Baker and then Narsing me to 2007 and 2014, they support this aspect. Now, for the purposes of this presentation, the question, the focal questions which will direct the whole paper will be why is violence on the rise in many developing countries? Why is it on the rise? To this question, we can say it could be as a result of lawlessness and less respect for the rule of law. Democratic principles are not strictly adhered to in developing country, dictatorship, bad leadership, and all that. Disregard for the rule of law, the class difference, inequality. They all form this aspect of why it is rising in developing country than developed country. Now, you may have less or lesser cases of violence against women in America than in countries like Nigeria and Ghana, because the United States of America upholds the values of the rule of law, respect of the rule of law. The principles of democracy are strictly adhered to in the United States of America. Now, another question would be, what are the factors responsible for the rise of violence against women and girls by men and boys as the perpetrator? Yes, we have said some of these things. There are cultural values. Some of our cultures put to us in society that women are less than men in value, because they feel that men continue to take on generation to generation, lineage to lineage, from one point to the other, whereas the girl child or the woman cannot do that. She does not move a particular generation to the next generation. Our generation ends with her, and that is why there is high preference for male child in the family. These are cultural value, our system, what we believe, and all that and all that. That is one aspect of it. We believe that women, by their nature, by their biological nature and makeup, also mostly their experiences of puberty, their experiences of their monthly fluid and all that, can be like an aberration to religious practices, that they are always like unclean in this aspect. Islam upholds this kind of values and all that. This is one aspect of what this report brings to bear. Some of the factors that we should have in mind. How did the various programs for men help in addressing challenges of violence against women and girls concerning this report? Yes, a lot of countries in the Latin America, like Chile, made a lot effort in seeing it, like sensitizing society. They came up with like a preventive program drew participants, from the ages of 17 to 24. The program facilitated by head staff and all that. It was like a seminar which took on which elapsed like the average of 90 minutes each section for about the program was like about some weeks, but it took like 90 minutes per section. It was like more of seminar, and it came out with some positive change and impact assessment using a quasi experimental design of intervention. 60% tests were done and 153 post tests and control group. 250% per pre-test and 150 post-test. PES found that there was a statistical significant impact on gender studies. In Brazil, they came up with the issue of organizing football, soccer, and all that, as a way of sensitizing society against gender violence against women, and men were mainly involved. It was like a tournament to sensitize them from time to time, and it came up with positive result, as we find in the slide here. The third country was Peru. Peru came up with a program, but this time was anchored by the national police, the national police, and which trained officers and other participants on how to identify issues of gender violence and how to help issues that affect gender violence in society. And it came out with a positive result, as we might find in the slide. Also, the last country here is Nicaragua. Nicaragua came up with a soap opera with series on national television and radio program, including violence against women and domestic violence, aspects that accumulate issues of violence against women, rape, coercion, abusive relationship, human trafficking, sexual harassment, and all. They put together, continue to sensitize society, like various programs on radio and TV, and this really helped at the end of the day. In that country, also the report came up with some recommendations, like which must be pondered upon: conducting national sensitization against gender violence against women, making survey and all that, continuous academic researches and all that, promote qualitative and quantitative research about violence against women and girls committed by men, should be championed by men, identify the group of women most vulnerable to male violence, and the program of men who are most likely to commit it, meaning that men who promote respect for women, treat women as equal and all that, should champion programs like this in society. The fourth one will be conduct critical gender masculine research on phenomena related to violence against women and girls, such as sexism, cultural norms, absence and abuse, and more. And the last one will be research and publicize positive stories about men who have over time, promoted respect for women, respect for girls, and all that, and give them national award, encourage them in a way that other men will learn from their programs and try to key into it. And also, this presentation has like a slide, like two short presentation on these issues concerning violence against women and girls. Thank you very much. I think the slide and the article we posted on Canvas for us to digest. Thank you very much. God bless.